What if the place you called home could reach temperatures below -60 degrees Celsius? Today, we're counting down the 12 coldest villages on Earth, where surviving winter is part of everyday life. At number 12, we have Snag, Canada, a tiny settlement hidden deep in the Yukon Territory, surrounded by endless forests, frozen rivers, and some of the wildest landscapes in North America. Even though very few people have ever heard of it, Snag became famous around the world after recording one of the lowest temperatures ever measured on the continent. On February 3, 1947, the thermometer dropped to an unbelievable -81.4 degrees Fahrenheit, -63 degrees Celsius, a record that still stands today. During winter, temperatures below -40 degrees Fahrenheit are common, and the freezing air is so cold that breathing can become painful after just a few minutes outside. Cars often need to stay running to stop their engines from freezing. Metal becomes brittle, and batteries lose power almost instantly. At these temperatures, exposed skin can suffer frostbite within minutes, making even the simplest outdoor tasks incredibly dangerous. Despite these extreme conditions, people once built a small community here, surviving with heavily insulated homes, constant heating, and careful preparation for the long Arctic winter. Although Snag is no longer permanently inhabited, it remains one of the coldest places where people have ever managed to live, proving just how far humans can adapt to one of the harshest climates on Earth. At number 11, we have Ulan-Ude, Mongolia, a remote village located in the country's far north, close to the Siberian border. Surrounded by frozen mountains, endless forests, and vast open plains, it's one of the coldest inhabited places in Mongolia. Every winter, temperatures regularly fall below -49 degrees Fahrenheit, -45 degrees Celsius, while the coldest nights can reach an incredible -72 degrees Fahrenheit, -58 degrees Celsius. Snow blankets the landscape for months, rivers freeze solid, and icy winds make the temperature feel even colder. Despite these brutal conditions, several hundred people continue to live here, preserving a traditional lifestyle that has changed very little over the centuries. Many families rely on raising yaks, horses, and reindeer, while others hunt and fish to survive the long winters. Homes are built to retain as much heat as possible, and powerful stoves burn almost constantly to keep indoor temperatures livable. During the coldest days, spending more than a few minutes outside without proper clothing can be dangerous, as frostbite can develop incredibly quickly. Even with such an unforgiving climate, the people of Ulan-Ude have learned to adapt, proving that determination and tradition can overcome even the harshest winters on Earth. At number 10, we have Verkhoyansk, Russia, one of the coldest inhabited places on Earth. Hidden deep in the Sakha Republic of northeastern Siberia, this remote town is surrounded by mountains that trap freezing Arctic air, creating an incredibly harsh climate. Winter temperatures regularly drop below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius, while the coldest temperature ever recorded here reached an astonishing -90 degrees Fahrenheit, -67.8 degrees Celsius. For much of the year, the ground remains frozen, rivers turn into solid ice, and snow covers the landscape for months without melting. Life in Verkhoyansk is a constant battle against the cold. Residents wear multiple layers of insulated clothing, homes require heating around the clock, and cars are often left running to prevent their engines from freezing overnight. During the darkest weeks of winter, daylight lasts only a few hours, making everyday life even more challenging. Despite these extreme conditions, around 1,000 people continue to live here, relying on reindeer herding, hunting, and local businesses to support the community. Verkhoyansk is a remarkable example of how people can adapt and thrive in one of the harshest environments anywhere on the planet. At number 9, we have Fort Selkirk, Canada, an isolated settlement hidden in the heart of the Yukon Territory, where winter dominates life for most of the year. Surrounded by endless forests, frozen rivers, and untouched wilderness, Fort Selkirk experiences some of the coldest temperatures in Canada. During the long winter months, temperatures frequently fall below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius, while the coldest nights have reached nearly -76 degrees Fahrenheit, -60 degrees Celsius. Heavy snowfall blankets the region for months, and the Yukon River freezes into a massive sheet of ice, transforming the entire landscape into a frozen world. Because of its remote location, reaching the village can be extremely difficult during winter, and for much of its history, residents depended almost entirely on themselves for survival. Food, fuel, and supplies had to be carefully stored before the coldest months arrived, as travel often became impossible once the snowstorms began. Homes were built with thick wooden walls and powerful heating systems capable of withstanding weeks of relentless freezing temperatures. Wildlife also plays an important role here, with moose, wolves, foxes, and even bears living in the surrounding wilderness, although many animals disappear into hibernation or migrate before the harshest weather arrives. At number 8, we have Ust-Nera, Russia, a remote town in the Sakha Republic, hidden deep within eastern Siberia. Surrounded by rugged mountains and endless taiga forests, Ust-Nera is one of the coldest permanently inhabited settlements in the world. Every winter, temperatures regularly plunge below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius, while the coldest nights have dropped to nearly -76 degrees Fahrenheit, -60 degrees Celsius. The freezing season lasts for more than 7 months, and for much of that time the landscape remains completely covered in snow and ice. The ground is permanently frozen beneath the surface, a condition known as permafrost, which makes construction incredibly difficult and forces buildings to be specially designed to withstand the shifting frozen soil. Life here revolves around preparing for the long winter. Cars are often kept running for hours to stop their engines from freezing. Thick insulated clothing is essential whenever people go outside, and homes rely on constant heating day and night. Despite the extreme climate, Ust-Nera has a population of several thousand people, many of whom work in nearby gold mines, one of the region's main industries. During the coldest months, the air becomes so dry and icy that every breath creates thick clouds of frozen vapor, while rivers remain completely frozen until late spring. At number 7, we have Upernavik, Greenland, one of the northernmost permanently inhabited villages in the world. Located on a small island far above the Arctic Circle, Upernavik is surrounded by frozen seas, towering icebergs, and snow-covered mountains that remain white for most of the year. During winter, temperatures frequently fall below -40 degrees Fahrenheit, -40 degrees Celsius, while the coldest days have reached nearly -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius. For several months each year, the sea around the village freezes solid, making transportation incredibly difficult and forcing many residents to rely on snowmobiles, dog sleds, and boats whenever conditions allow. Around 1,000 people live here, and many still depend on traditional hunting and fishing to support their families. Seals, halibut, and Arctic fish have provided food for generations, while colorful wooden houses stand out against the endless white landscape. During the long Arctic winter, daylight becomes extremely limited, but in summer, the midnight sun keeps the village illuminated almost around the clock. At number 6, we have Yakutsk, Russia, the coldest major city on Earth. Located in the heart of Siberia along the Lena River, this extraordinary city is home to more than 350,000 people, making it by far the largest settlement on our list. Every winter, temperatures regularly fall below -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -50 degrees Celsius, while the coldest nights can reach around -81 degrees Fahrenheit, -63 degrees Celsius. The ground beneath the city is permanently frozen, a phenomenon known as permafrost, which means almost every building has to be constructed on deep concrete, stilts to prevent the heat from melting the soil underneath. Life in Yakutsk is unlike anywhere else in the world. During winter, cars are often left running for hours or parked inside heated garages because engines can freeze completely overnight. Markets even sell frozen fish outdoors, where they remain naturally preserved without the need for refrigerators. Residents wear thick fur coats, insulated boots, and multiple layers every day just to cope with the freezing temperatures. Despite the extreme climate, Yakutsk is a modern city with universities, theaters, shopping centers, museums, and a busy airport that connects this remote region with the rest of Russia. At number 5, we have Norilsk, Russia, one of the northernmost cities in the world and one of the coldest places where hundreds of thousands of people still live. Located more than 250 miles north of the Arctic Circle, Norilsk experiences incredibly long winters, with temperatures frequently dropping below -40 degrees Fahrenheit -40 degrees Celsius and often reaching -58 degrees Fahrenheit -50 degrees Celsius during the coldest months. Snow covers the city for almost 9 months every year, while powerful Arctic winds make the temperature feel even lower. For several weeks each winter, the sun never rises above the horizon, leaving the city in complete polar darkness. Despite these harsh conditions, more than 170,000 people call Norilsk home. The city was built around one of the world's largest deposits of nickel, copper, and palladium, and mining continues to be its main industry today. Living here requires constant adaptation. Buildings are constructed on reinforced pillars because of the permanently frozen ground. Heating systems operate almost continuously, and residents carefully prepare for months of freezing temperatures every year. Roads, sidewalks, and even staircases are regularly cleared of deep snow, while people rely on heavy winter clothing simply to walk outside. At number 4, we have Barrow, Alaska, officially known today as Utqiagvik, the northernmost city in the United States. Located on the coast of the Arctic Ocean, this remote community experiences one of the harshest climates in North America. Winter temperatures frequently fall below -40 degrees Fahrenheit -40 degrees Celsius, while powerful Arctic winds often make it feel below -70 degrees Fahrenheit -57 degrees Celsius. Snow and ice dominate the landscape for most of the year, and the sea remains frozen for months at a time. One of the most extraordinary things about Utqiagvik is its daylight cycle. Every winter, the sun disappears completely for about 65 days, leaving the town in total darkness except for a few hours of twilight. In contrast, during summer, the sun doesn't set for more than 2 months, creating continuous daylight around the clock. Around 5,000 people live here year-round, and many are Inupiat, an indigenous people who have survived in the Arctic for thousands of years. Traditional hunting of whales, seals, and fish still plays an important role in local culture, even though the town also has modern schools, hospitals, and businesses. Every building is specially designed to withstand the freezing temperatures, while homes rely on constant heating throughout the long winter. At number 3, we have Khatanga, Russia, one of the northernmost permanently inhabited settlements in Siberia. Located above the Arctic Circle on the banks of the Khatanga River, this remote village is surrounded by endless tundra, frozen rivers, and one of the most unforgiving climates on Earth. Winter temperatures regularly fall below -58 degrees Fahrenheit -50 degrees Celsius, while the coldest days have reached nearly -81 degrees Fahrenheit -63 degrees Celsius. The freezing season lasts for more than 8 months, and during the depths of winter, the sun barely rises above the horizon, leaving the landscape in near darkness for weeks. Despite these brutal conditions, around 3,000 people continue to live here, adapting to a lifestyle where preparation is essential for survival. The ground remains permanently frozen, so buildings are constructed on raised foundations to prevent them from sinking as the upper layer of soil thaws during the short summer. Transportation is another major challenge. During winter, frozen rivers become natural highways, while in warmer months, boats and small aircraft are often the only reliable way to reach the outside world. Hunting, fishing, and reindeer herding have supported local communities for generations, and many traditional Arctic customs are still preserved today. At number 2, we have Dixon, Russia, one of the northernmost settlements on the planet and often called the coldest port in the world. Located on the edge of the Kara Sea, far above the Arctic Circle, Dixon is surrounded by frozen ocean, endless tundra, and a landscape where winter seems to last forever. Temperatures regularly fall below -58 degrees Fahrenheit -50 degrees Celsius, while the coldest winters have seen the thermometer drop to nearly -76 degrees Fahrenheit -60 degrees Celsius. Powerful Arctic storms frequently bring blizzards with winds strong enough to reduce visibility to almost zero, making it dangerous to leave home. During the polar night, the sun disappears completely for several weeks, leaving the settlement in darkness except for a faint twilight. Even simple tasks like walking to work or buying groceries require heavy insulated clothing designed to withstand some of the harshest weather on Earth. Around 500 people still live in Dixon, many working at the Arctic port, weather station, or supporting scientific research carried out in the region. Because of its extreme isolation, most supplies arrive only by ship during the short summer or by aircraft when weather conditions allow. Wildlife is also part of everyday life here, with polar bears occasionally wandering close to the settlement in search of food, forcing residents to remain constantly alert. And taking the #1 spot, we have Oymyakon, Russia, officially recognized as the coldest permanently inhabited village on Earth. Hidden deep in the Sakha Republic of Eastern Siberia, this extraordinary village has become famous for surviving temperatures that most people could never imagine. In 1933, Oymyakon recorded an astonishing -89.9 degrees Fahrenheit, -67.7 degrees Celsius, one of the lowest temperatures ever officially measured in an inhabited place. Even today, winter temperatures below -76 degrees Fahrenheit, -60 degrees Celsius are common, making everyday life an incredible challenge. Around 500 people continue to live here year-round, proving that humans can adapt to even the harshest environments on the planet. During winter, cars are often left running all day because engines can freeze solid within hours if switched off. Water pipes cannot be installed underground because of the permanently frozen ground, so many homes rely on outdoor pumps or melted ice for water. Schools usually remain open unless temperatures fall below -61 degrees Fahrenheit, -52 degrees Celsius, and residents wear multiple layers of fur and insulated clothing simply to step outside. Farming is almost impossible, so most families rely on reindeer herding, horse breeding, hunting, and fishing to support themselves. Which of these villages surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the world's most incredible villages and hidden places, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Village Wonders, and I'll see you in the next adventure.